Start in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So G-Virus is mostly going to focus on playing the video game because this game is incredibly difficult. So we're going to talk about a little bit here as we go. As in any good Metroidvania, you're going to start going left rather than right. And right away, we're going to pick up the weapon, the Axiom Disruptor. Everything in this game revolves around disrupting things, kind of like a, you know, never mind. I was going to make a bad joke about Silicon Valley, but it's fine. In the meantime, we are going to head with our Axiom Disruptor to the right now. Of course, you know, immediately gain the ability to blow these bubbles out of the way and just make your way to the right and pick up our first alternative weapons. So the Axiom Disruptor has like, I don't know, it's like 22 weapons or something that you can collect for it total. And we're going to get 3, because this is any percent. But the first one we are actually going to get very, very shortly, and it has literally 1 use. Now one thing we're going to do in this room here is we're going to do some intentional damage boosts. And as we do, watch that health bar in the top left of the screen, because it is going to go down to a very low amount. And that is going to be fairly common in this run. G-Virus knows exactly how much damage things are going to do, so he knows what to expect. But health is incredibly precious in this game. It's very, very brutal. If you take really any unplanned damage, you're going to have a bad time. So here we're picking up the first alternative weapon. This is the Nova. We're going to use it one entire time, and we just need this to access the first boss and get the next upgrade. So to kind of set the stage, first what we're doing, we start in this opening area, Eribu, and we're looking to get access to the late game, which is going to occur through another area called Ukin-na, and that's connected directly to this first area of the game. There's like a, if you go down that door on the bottom right here, it's immediately accessible. However, we need some upgrades to do that. There is a particular item we need. There's the Nova. Say goodbye. We're not going to see it again. So the entire first 18 minutes of the run is centered around getting access to that spot. Also, here's a big spooky room with a scary thing in it. Yeah, this means there's a boss coming up. Yeah, that's a boss noise. So this is Zeter, and he's going to float around and shoot some projectiles. G-Virus knows exactly where to stand so that they're not going to hit him, and he also knows the optimal rate of fire to shoot his gun. You don't want to just mash, you want to actually you know, have a little bit of a pause in between each shot. But this is going very well. He just wants the boss to always be facing him. And there you go, a nice clean 3.5-ish cycle. It's very quick. And that right away is going to lead us to the next upgrade for the Disruptor, and that is the laser drill. I don't know how lasers are involved exactly, but it is a drill. It will allow us to drill through these blocks, and we will be using it a fair bit. It's also interesting to note that the drill is a weapon like other weapons, so it will damage enemies, and it also will be affected by this little octagonal thing. It's a weapon damage upgrade. We're going to collect 4 total over the course of the run. Some will require longer detours than the others, but you'll even immediately notice that it speeds up breaking those blocks. The weapon damage upgrades will make us go through some of those blocks faster. We also used it there on that switch because it just doesn't have travel time. You just press the right trigger and it immediately hits the switch pretty quickly. So now we're heading down to, instead of going to Ukin-na, which is really where we want to go, but we just don't have the, you know, the abilities necessary to do that. So we're going to drop all the way down through this shaft. We are heading to the second area, which we like to call Brinstar. I did know what the name of this area was earlier today. Oh no, it's Absu. Absu, yeah.
By the way, me bursting the bubbles is just, it's bubble wrap, right? So it's I have to do it.
You can't just break one. So that spherical object, that was a health upgrade. That one in particular is mandatory for the speedrun route, but we do have a bunch of other optional ones that we will pick up along the way. Mostly for marathon safety, and in at least one case, it's just everyone takes it because it's insanely risky to not take it. Things deal, again, a lot of damage in this game. And yeah, you can kind of see why we might refer to this as Brinstar. It kind of has a little bit of the, you know, kind of greenish, vegetation-y look to it. But again, this game, as mentioned, is a love letter to Metroidvanias and, you know, kind of Super Metroid or Metroid in particular.
There's Rygar, Master Blaster. There's that man has good taste. I'll say as much.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you can see a lot of those influences as we go through. So here we're picking up another alternative weapon. We're also, in the normal run, we would see a whole bunch of cutscenes. Sorry, in the normal game, you'd see a whole bunch of cutscenes, but in this we just skip those because, again, speedrun mode automatically skips them all. And the weapon that we picked up is called the Kilver. It is going to fire a short-range, that thing, electricity pulse that it deals a crap load of damage, but as you see, the range is incredibly short, so it's basically like a melee weapon. And it means that you have to be pretty risky in order to make good use of it. We are also heading up onto our next boss, and along the way, we need basically all of the health that we've acquired along the way. So G-Virus is going to get these enemies out of his way by just shooting them. Makes it faster to traverse this corridor, and also because the randomness is fixed, he knows they'll drop health. And that's great because he needs all of it for this very, very difficult and scary boss fight.
Run killer right there. Super scary. I hope I didn't practice him, so I hope I can make it.
Oh, haha, we're just kidding. It's not scary at all.
Yeah.
So as it turns out, you can just damage boost right through the boss. Again, as long as you have 3 full health bars. And he can't turn around, so we're just going to shoot him a whole bunch, and eventually he will explode into a pixelated mess like the previous boss did. There you go. Very, very difficult fight. I mean, that fight is actually very difficult if you have to stand in front, but fortunately from behind it's a lot more trivial. So we are pretty low on health, but that's all right. We'll get some refill in the very near future. And we also pick up the next upgrade, the Axiom, the Address Disruptor. This is going to allow you to, edit these blocks in the world or these enemies to just change them into different things. Also, G-Virus managing to get very optimal movement there to get that first bubble. And it saves about 4 to 5 seconds if he's able to do that, so that's pretty nice. There's a lot of little things like that in this run that G-Virus is looking to do. And here is the aforementioned free health refill. So when you get a health orb, not only do you get an additional bar added to your health, but you also get a free refill, so that's really nice. And it's pretty important because we're coming up to several very scary areas. Here we're just going to be doing some, damage boosting. We want these enemies' projectiles to hit us rather than the little green dudes. But otherwise, we're heading into the next section of the game called Z, and we're just trying to get the next set of upgrades that we need in order to be able to get into Ukin Na. That's still our overall goal. And we're about halfway through an incredibly punishing section of the game, but might be time for a donation right here.
Absolutely. We've got a $15 donation from Acid Crew. My first time donating during one of my favorite Metroidvania-style games, Axiom Verge. Thomas Happ is a creative god. Super excited to be watching this amazing live run from the great G-Virus. You are a huge inspiration to me in learning to speedrun this game. Best of luck.
Thank you, man. Wherever you are, thank you.
All right, so here is another damage upgrade, and that one also allowed us to showcase a terrifying monster type that we will see again in the very near future. But for now, we're entering Z. This is the third area. I don't know, you can start part 2 or something. But we're going to be taking some intentional damage off that steam there because it deals a lot less damage than these enemies deal. And the projectiles also are very deadly by comparison with just taking body hits from the enemies. So that's going to be kind of a theme, just making sure that instead of getting hit by enemy projectiles, we get hit by their bodies. But, of course, ideally, we don't get hit at all. That would be the best. And here's a save room. Bye. Yeah, we're skipping all these. We are not going to be using any of the save points for the entire, actually ever, really, but in particular, these first 18 minutes of the run, we don't use any save points, and if you die, you go all the way back to the very beginning of the game. So this entire first half of the run is incredibly risky, but if you manage to avoid dying, you save a ludicrous amount of time. Oh, I love the sound effects there. And you also skip an entire item upgrade that you just don't even need to get. So here you see G-Virus is going to stop, kill these the scary dudes jumping around, and take out the worms as well, because they're just absolutely awful if you let them get anywhere near you. And, there's a little bit of a safe thing, but boy, like, you just do not want to die. The amount of time lost is absolutely just insane. So we're through. Whew. And now here's something random. These enemies, that health drop we knew was there because it's speedrun mode, but they're little projectiles that are, flapping around. Those are 100% random, even in speedrun mode. All right, so G-Virus taking 2 intentional damage boosts. He's trying to be able to get up a little bit cleanly, but unfortunately that second guy knocked him off the platform, so he just opts to kill him. And as you see, those projectiles are just going every which way, trying to seek him out, but fortunately managing not to do so. So now we're going to begin a little bit of back and forth. Love the music here, by the way.
Yeah, it's so good.
Before I talk a little more about that, so right here, that's a little bit unfortunate. G-Virus uses the address disruptor to transform that enemy from an annoying one that shoots damaging laser beams to one that shoots laser beams that break these walls open. And there's a couple of these shortcuts up the sides of different rooms that are just a little bit safer. Unfortunately, because the first one didn't give him a path into the side there, he wasn't able to make that cycle. Again, that's one of those 4 or 5 second things. But yeah, so we are in the area Kerr, and in Kerr we are going to get a couple different upgrades, but we're going to start with, this is called I think the Field Disruptor, but I mean, it's the high jump boots. Like, we've all played Super Metroid, it's the high jump boots.
It is totally.
And Kilver is basically melee plasma, so.
Pretty much, yeah. So now we got the high jump boots and we can make our way out. And we are actually going to double back and go all the way back to Z. This is a necessary like back and forth trip that you have to do. And it's just a bunch of farming. All of this is just to get the requirements so that we can acquire the address disruptor level 2. We've got level 1 right now, but level 2 is the one that's going to give us access to Uken. G-Virus, again, he knows which enemies will drop health if he kills them, so he goes ahead and just takes a little bit of a refill there to you know, make himself safe. There's really no reason to take a risk there when this entire section of the game is just, you know, incredibly scary. And again, there's a cycle here on the way back that he wants to make, but it's much, much easier to make, so no problem there. All right, well, we're doing a quick bit of travel over here to get to the next boss, which is going to guard our next ability, but we can definitely fit in about 1 or 2 donations here.
Cool thing. Got a $75 donation from Selectic X. Sup, G-Virus from the Serious team. We know you can do it. Kick some butt like I know you can do. Here, have my biggest donation yet at GDQ.
Thanks, man.
Got a $25 donation from Little Star Joe. Had to donate during my boy G-Virus's run. Really proud of you. Quebec represent.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, so a really precise jump at the start of this room that G-Virus doesn't get. It doesn't save that much time, but there's a number of those in this game. They're like pixel perfect almost. But now we're coming up to the next boss because here's another spooky antechamber. And this one, I like to call it Kraid.
It's a good name.
That's a face only a mother could love, though.
And definitely reminds me of the brain bug from Starship Troopers with that face.
Pretty much, but yeah, this one, much like the previous one, there's a little bit of a cheese strat. You just you use this platform. It's actually intended for on the way out to use the address disruptor to get out, but we can use it on the way in and just get in a safe spot and shoot the boss a whole lot. And there you go, tough boss.
Really tough.
But don't worry, the difficult stuff is just beginning, as there's no shortage of scary stuff on the way out of here. And so now we're picking up the lab coat. I mean, it's a lab coat. That part's pretty self-explanatory, but what's not as self-explanatory is that awesome effect that it has. It's pretty unique. I don't know that I've seen this in really any other game where you can just teleport through walls, basically, and it's a designed aspect where you've got one tile walls now you can pass through. So we're going to do that, and G-Virus is also going to go ahead and use this right here to solidify some of these platforms and pass through this wall and collect another full health upgrade. So this is a pure safety strategy, so you know, it's like a 10-second time to go pick this up, but the increased safety of having this is just so huge. And obviously in a marathon setting, you do not want to die in these first 18 minutes.
By the way, fun piece of information, and I'm pretty sure the Powered Up Audio people will appreciate this. If you take a look at the health bar, there's this little flashy animation. It matches the BPM of the song that's playing at any given time.
Of course you did,
yeah.
Kevin. Of course you did.
Perfect. Oh my!
I love this dude.
Kevin's great.
Kevin's the GOAT.
Oh my goodness. So we're we're done in Z, so we're going back to Kerr to collect 2 more upgrades. We'll finally get what we want, but there's a little bit of just kind of back travel and navigating some of the same areas we did before, and then we're going to get out into the outdoors of this world called Speedrun. But now's definitely another good time for let's go with 2 donations.
Cool. Got $5 that says, "Hey G-Virus, Brad Skills here from the Discord. Just wanted to say good luck with the run, good luck with the disco lasers, and here's to getting your redemption." $25 from Shinx. "Hey there, G-Virus. Shinx here. Glad your run is at a time I can actually watch this time. Good luck on it, and hope you're having a blast. P.S. I hope they have poutine there."
I haven't seen any.
All right, so that was a tough little tight jump that G-Virus wanted to try with that yapping mod, just try to get right past it, but it's pretty precise. But here we are in the outdoors. We just collected the 3rd out of 4 damage upgrades that we're going to collect. There's a Torkoal. Shout out to Pokemon. There are a couple Pokemon quote-unquote references in here, by which I mean, you know, we as gamers invent our own kind of, you know, canon here.
Yep.
And damage doesn't matter too much right here now that we've gotten past some of the dangerous parts, because we do know that a bunch of these Torkoals are going to drop health if we take them out, so we will be able to recover our health. And also the movement here is not too challenging. So what we're trying to accomplish out here is that we're trying to get the drone upgrade for the Disruptor. We're going to be able to use that to shoot out a little drone that's going to be pretty useful. G-Virus describes it as this game's morph ball equivalent, which is definitely not wrong.
Yeah, for real.
At first, it becomes so much more, though.
That is for sure. So here it is. We've picked this up, and we are almost done with this horrifying 18 minutes of just like absolute insanity and risk. Fortunately, of course, with the safety strats, it's a little bit less ridiculous. You can definitely take it a little bit safer with maximum speed strats, which G-Virus is quite familiar with. Oh boy. But now we are heading back down into Lower Kerr, so this was just a brief visit up here. Don't worry, we'll be back. Again, there is a fair bit of backtracking in any percent, but not anything too crazy. And on the way down, we are going to head back through this shaft. We're going to try to damage that guy just in time to get some invulnerability through him. Didn't quite work out, but it's not a huge deal. And through this door, we will be finding the first opportunity to use our drone. As you see, it allows you through these one-tile gaps, so it basically has the equivalent effect of the morph ball. But as G-Virus did allude to, there will be many, many more uses of the drone in the future. So something I always like to draw attention to is watch the specific movements that G-Virus makes here, and he's just trying to make sure that he manipulates these enemies to jump at particular times or not jump so that he can get through with as little trouble as possible. You should also know the drone has a health meter of its own and can die. It regenerates health as you go while it's not spawned, so you can get your health back. But here we go. We've got the Address Disruptor level 2. We are going to save warp all the way back to the beginning of the game, and we are through the most tense 18 minutes of the run. So, whew, that is a load off our minds now. Whew. But don't worry, we are still never going to use a save point. But yeah, now we finally have the Address Disruptor level 2. We've got the drone, we've got the high jump boots, we've got everything that we need to head in to Uken-Na, and we can begin the second half of this run. As you see from all those weapon damage upgrades, the drill pierces those blocks much more quickly now. That enemy, I love that enemy. He has a great design that you kind of never see. He's just in that one room, as far as I know, in the run.
He's in a couple of other rooms, but you'll see him in 100% a lot more.
So there you see the Address Disruptor level 2. It's just a more effective version of the level 1. It just does some more stuff. But now we're in Uken-Na. This is a pretty late game area, and we're going to start to to see some fun stuff happening here. But first, we're going to traverse some areas that are kind of teasing us a little bit. Above here is actually the path to the final area of the game, which we call Turian. I mean, whatever, it's fine. Don't worry, it's Turian.
It is terrain.
But let's catch up on the story meanwhile. So you're Trace. This is Trace. That's Trace. And you know, you're trying to get through the world of wherever this world is. We're in some weird, I don't know, science accident. Science is bad. Don't trust science. There's a save point. We're still not using it. That jump is very precise, and so it didn't quite work out. And there's Trace, and of course we're Trace. So as you might be noticing by now, the screen's getting a little wavy. The conceit here is that there's some weird kind of, you know, hallucination type stuff going on, and you know, we're going through these areas.
And shout out to Masingo.
Yeah. Masingo. So what you didn't realize is this hallucination looking thing here is really we're surfing up and down Cinnabar Island right now and doing a Pokemon speedrun, really.
Pretty much.
Wait,
and
this is Pokemon?
And actually, that's useful. Turning these enemies using the address disruptor into Missing No is useful because their hitbox grows, so it becomes the size of the entire sprite, and they get stuck on those platforms. But otherwise, it's just kind of funny. It's a neat little Easter egg. And the address disruptor has effects on like every enemy. You can turn them into different things or get different effects from them. So it's really cool to try out in casual play. We don't, of course, use most of them in a speedrun, but anyway, we're navigating these areas. The enemies get progressively scarier and weirder. The room designs get progressively scarier and weirder. Don't touch these ghosts, by the way. You do not want to touch those ghosts. You also don't want these hands to grab you. They do not mean well. But we're through, and oh look, it's a boss.
Hey, can I take this one, G?
Yeah, sure.
All right, hang on. All right, I'm gonna try this out.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
This is all you, bud.
Okay.
This is really hard to do with your mind, so hang on.
You could shoot a little bit faster, though.
I'm trying, dude. I'm trying.
I mean,
how about
all
that?
right, there you go.
All right, good job.
Let's hear it for Raptor, people.
So the conceit of that boss is that actually you're controlling the boss, not Trace. And so you just float him over to the left and take it death there as quickly as you can. And now we're going to move on. There's some story-related stuff there, but we're trying to kind of keep this mostly spoiler-free. So we are taking a quick detour here. We're going to pick up yet another health upgrade. Again, this is basically for safety. This is probably the slowest one, I think, in the run that you pick up.
Yeah,
But,
it's not very out of the way.
yeah, it's really not a huge deal. And also, remember this save point. We just came through here earlier, and it actually automatically saves you as part of the hallucination sequence, which is really convenient. This is the save point we're going to be using for the rest of the run.
And there's actually a technical reason to that, why the save point is automatically activated. Let's say you wouldn't use any save point from the beginning, you get to the end of hallucination, and then you die. You go back to the original save point, and the hallucination effect is still on, like full blast, so we don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be in a tough situation. But as it happens, for now, we're retraversing the same area that we just were in, and these same drones are here, but it's much, much nicer this time and way easier. They're just kind of chilling. They're just playing some fun music there. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. But we are heading back up here to pick up the next upgrade. Incidentally, there's a small health upgrade pickup down there. That's just it's a partial one. So you collect 4 of those. It has the same effect as a full one. But this is what we wanted. This is the trench coat. It's level 2 of the lab coat. And this is going to allow us to dash. So it upgrades the ability to teleport through walls to 2 tiles instead of 1. And it lets you do this in any direction, any of the 8. So this is very marginally faster than running, and so we're going to... actually, I think it's a little bit... It's decently faster. But it does require double tapping the D-pad, so the inputs get a little bit awkward. And now we're going to fast travel, and this is a severed head.
It's also a treadmill, because, you know.
Some influence from H.R. Geiger, yeah? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's,
maybe a little bit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I get that notion somehow.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
So the purpose of this trip on this weird floating head is we are heading into the next area. That was called Indy. That's a fast travel area, a little bit of a kind of hub. But now we are on into Eden. And in this room, there's a couple enemies that will pop out of the ground if we stand in particular points, so we just jump over them. So there's 2 abilities here. There is the address bomb, and then there's the other thing that we really want, we don't care about the address bomb, so we're going to skip it. Normally what the address bomb does is it allows you to basically detonate a huge explosion that handles certain kinds of that weird corruption that can't otherwise be affected. So we're just going to damage boost and dash on through there. And that's a pretty big skip because there's actually an entire like extra boss in the way that you have to beat. And then, hey, get over here.
What are you doing, dude?
This dude is kind of drunk.
Oh, God.
Wow, that's terrible.
I'm just gonna.
Just
reset the room. Yeah.
that was a heck of a troll. You do not want these enemies.
I
they
would need
don't
to go
reset.
2 rooms back, so whatever. So I'll do a backup save right here.
All right.
Because in this case, on the contrary to the original save point that I usually skip, going back there is not that punishing. So I'm just gonna go. I could have left them alone, but they had to make my life difficult, so
Yeah,
deal with them.
that was a rough situation. These enemies, as you can already see, just by taking a couple taps from these enemies, he's taking a lot of damage, and he really doesn't want to take too much more. So here, these enemies, they're basically glorified Metroids. They don't really look like much. It just looks like a little ball of light, but boy, if they hook onto you, they will eventually...
like so.
Oh, no. Oh, God, yeah.
So they multiply, but it's no big deal. That's why I did the health refill, actually.
Yep. Okay, we're fine. Everything's fine.
This is
fine.
good.
This is fine.
This is fine.
All right. Okay, so we're heading into the most difficult boss fight in the run because there's a very precise quick kill coming up here. So this is a giant wasp or a bee or whatever. Now G-Virus is going to stand in very specific positions to manipulate its position. Just make it fly back a certain amount. So there's 1, there's 2, this is number 3. And now he is going to step to the edge, transform these little mini bees into basically bombs. Now wait for the boss to get in a specific spot, shoot the bombs, and there they go. There's one char-grilled bee. Very nicely done. And if you were around in SGDQ 2016, you remember the power of V-Sync.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, V-Sync.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So now we're just going to go to the fast travel area. So I just need to traverse back up to that point, to the indie treadmill head thing. And so we lose about 20 seconds. It's no big deal.
Yeah, this isn't too bad. Otherwise, you would start from Ukinan. You'd have longer travel distance, but in the fast travel area, that is. But you would also have, less of this backtracking. So either way, it's not too huge of a deal. But the important thing is, didn't die, got the quick kill. Those are the big ones. Oh, hey, there are those guys. We're just going to run real fast. They're pretty mean. And yeah, so our next goal is we're going to go back to Indy. We're going to take the fast travel point. We're even going to get...
We're saving here because
here.
we don't want, when we do the next save and quit, we don't want to go all the way back there. This is much closer to the transit area.
Yeah, that's a great little optimization because, again, you just warp back to your previous save point whenever you do a save and quit.
And on the flip side, we only do half of the traversal in transit in this case, so it's not, the time loss is minimal, really.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so now there's going to be a little retraversal of Kerr. And then we're going to head up into outside, and we're going to pick up another couple things. But we do have time for, let's say, about 3 donations.
Got $30 that says, "Sup G-Virus, it's Ketsa from the Discord. Sorry I couldn't catch this live, but I'll watch the VOD later. Godspeed in Eden, and I'm sure I'll catch up to your time one of these days."
Twinge, I lied. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I forgot about this upgrade. This is an important upgrade. This is the drone teleport. But this is what we picked up after that boss. And what you're already seeing what it does. It allows you to throw the drone and then teleport to the drone. And this is super handy because, of course, the drone has its own health bar, so you can throw it out and just use it to take damage that you don't want to take. Look at that. Really nice movement there. That was very nice. And you can also use it to do this kind of ascension where you throw the drone, teleport to it, and the drone has a cooldown, actually, but G-Virus is going to reset it by firing the address disruptor. And that is going to allow him to throw it again and then teleport to it, and then reset it, and then throw it again, and then etc. You get the idea.
It's basically Bob Jumps.
You're not even wrong. And now that we've got that, we're going to get one more upgrade for the drone, and this one's a little more self-explanatory. This is the advanced drone launch.
By the way, I like how everyone flapped at a backup strat and just went.
You're not supposed to admit those things, dude.
Yeah, I'm a humble. I'm so
So now
humble.
you can see what it does.
Yeah, that's the advanced drone launch. And so with the combined power of all these abilities with the drone, we can just fly up into the air. And this is the intended method of getting into this area, actually. It's not like a sequence break or anything. But this is Ikurma, the pyramid. And in the pyramid, we are going to face some really scary golden drone enemies that, boy, casually these things just absolutely ruin your day. But in the speedrun, they're still pretty terrifying. And most of this is just making sure to avoid damage as much as possible. Again, same principle as earlier applies. We want to get hit by the bodies of these enemies, if at all, rather than the projectiles. Also, keep that little wall on the left in mind. There's a little golden door blocking off that damage upgrade. Just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as we continue through here. You know what, Twins? You can go for one.
Okay, we've got $50 from The Batman. Axiom Verge was one of the best games I played in 2015 without knowing a thing about it. So happy to get it destroyed by someone like G-Virus. Shoutouts to the community and donating to such a great cause.
All right, great. So here we are going with G-Virus is setting up a little bit of a wall there. That's beautiful. Not quite the optimal dig, but this is totally fine. Like, those guys are all just going to stand up there and shoot that wall forever. And now he's going to be able to dig down here and pick up this Speedrun key, which doesn't actually do anything for us. It's not like a weapon. It's not an item. But it will allow us to progress. And also, this drone's being pretty far away. He is a little bit low on health because he opted not to take a safety kill on this guy before the key, so he's going to go ahead and take it right now. He knows this guy drops health, so there you go. That's pretty much a full refill, and now he's going to be pretty safe. An important note about the way this drone works, actually, is while the drone's out, Trace gets a little force field around that you can see there that prevents damage, but that's only after the drone is hatched. So while the drone is still in this ball form, there's no shield, and Trace will take full damage, so he has to be careful the way he does that. And here you can see that door we mentioned earlier. Now it's open. Now we can pick up that fourth and final weapon upgrade, and that is going to make our kill verb be pretty powerful. But now we're going to head for the absolute last upgrade of the game. The Speedrun key will have opened 2 doors of that exact type. One was the one we just went through, and the other one we're going to see in just a little bit. Or actually a few seconds, I guess. Right there, that one. All right, so this part is just a little bit of navigating this section of the pyramid. Again, you know, same things. Just make sure don't get hit by the projectiles, get hit by anything else if possible. You know, make use of the drone. But while we're going through this, all right, let's go for. Man, my counts have been bad. Let's try 2. Let's try 2.
All right, $100 from Sabotage. It says, "Go G-Virus. Everyone at Sabotage is watching your run.
Oh,
Quebec
man.
represent." We've also got $25 from Polytopes. Wanted to donate during G-Virus's run because his Axiom Verge run at SGDQ a couple years ago got me into speedrunning. Good luck.
So the people at Sabotage are developing a game called The Messenger, which is basically a love letter to Ninja Gaiden. And these guys are amazing. I played the demo, and holy damn, like, this game is going to be crazy when it comes out. A lot of people are going to pick it up. So big shout outs to the people at Sabotage, and they've won tons of prizes everywhere on the world with their games. So check it out.
In the meantime, G-Virus is in a
fine. This is fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. They call this section Green Hell, and you can see exactly why, because he's at a very low health amount. But fortunately, now that we're in this room, there is nothing that can kill us. Well, you know, I shouldn't say things like that, but I'm pretty sure there's no
No, there's nothing. In this room, there's nothing.
So we do have to drill through some more of these blocks, and it's pretty slow, but fortunately the drill will soon be meeting the end of its usefulness. We're going to get, in my opinion, the best power-up in the game.
It's good.
How good?
So good.
Really good.
Kobe.
All right, so this is the red coat, and this is the level 3 of the coat, and it is going to take our 2-tile teleport and upgrade to 3 tiles, and it is also going to allow us to get an awesome pixelated effect on our dash, which, aside from being really cool, will also deal a ton of damage to anything in the way, enemies as well as destroying blocks. So the drill is done. We're just not using that.
This is basically this game's answer to the screw attack, and I gotta say, another thing that V-Sync does is cut damage in half for this ability. So And as you'll see, when I do the 2 last bosses of the run, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, but this is it. We've got everything we need. We've got the red coat. We've got all the weaponry and all the damage potential that we really need. So we are heading to the final area now, and so we got to ascend up here through the good old Ukena. And you see, of course, here at this save point, we would otherwise, if we hadn't had some of the other saves earlier, we would have respawned back at here after that save warp. So that's like a huge method of saving time in this game that is very difficult to make use of, since obviously it's very risky to not save. So here's another use of the drone to ascend through these areas, and you know, this is pretty challenging. This is a very difficult sequence of inputs, but also you get a little bit of leeway since you can just kind of recover. You can just fall a little bit and throw another drone and recover. So very nice job there by G-Virus, only having 2 hiccups there on getting through those balls. And don't worry, there's more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see how very quickly this run gets pretty insane because all the dashes are double tap on the D-pad, and then this ascent is a lot of inputs in a very short order. And again, right on through there, and here we are in the final area, Turian.
Turian.
I was going to try to remember the actual one, but it's Turian.
That's actually Mar Uru.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll totally go with that.
Marurian.
Yeah.
So this area, much like the Turians in the Metroid games, is filled with dangerous enemies that deal a ton of damage that you haven't seen elsewhere, and some that you have. These enemies in particular that shoot the lasers are just terrifying. And here is the 3rd to last boss. This is the Sentinel, and you're going to see a lot of use of the dash on the Kilver to deal maximum damage possible. If G-Virus is able to get optimal damage on each cycle, he can deal with this boss in 3, but you do see it does a ton of damage, and we've gone through 2 cycles already. It looks like we might be a little short, but we'll see. All right, yeah, we're playing a little safe to make sure that we don't die, because that is the absolute worst possible thing. And this looks like it should be pretty good. There it is. Yep.
Done.
All right. And that boss is very dangerous, so getting through there safely is never guaranteed. But now we get a nice health refill for the final stretch here, and we're going to have 7 health in total, which, as it turns out, if you touch these enemies, it's really not that much. This is an upgraded version of the drones we saw earlier during like the hallucination section. Those guys are terrifying. The laser guys are terrifying. Really, everything here is terrifying. Do not get hit by any of this. As you see, G-Virus got like sniffed by something. I didn't even notice it, but he already took a full health block of damage, so
yeah, those single hit.
Oof. But here's the 2nd to last boss. Hey, it's our boy Zeter. And he's optional.
Have to pay respects?
Nope.
All right, and this is coming up the last room. This is the Disco Inferno. These enemies are going to shoot these. Well, I mean, I feel like it's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And we're making use of the drone as much as possible and just getting through here as quickly as we can. Really don't want to lose any more health than we have already, and we don't. So that's great. We are straight on to the final boss immediately. So up at the top of this room, there's that green cell. He just needs to break that 3 times. There are these annoying enemies, of course, shooting him. Now, whichever one spawns on the right side is guaranteed to drop health. So he's going to make use of that knowledge, and he's going to take one of them out at some point. He's actually going to hold these ones for the 2nd phase, actually, but he is going to take it out and know that it's going to drop health guaranteed. So there it is. Nice health refill as the 2nd phase begins. Each time he breaks this green cell, that big snake on the side, don't worry about it, story, blah, blah, blah. It'll shoot that thing on the top. Don't worry about that either, story. But we're going to break this cell again. There it goes. That's 2 down, 1 more to go.
I want to destroy all the drones in this phase. That makes it so that the last phase drops more health.
Of course, G-Virus is doing pretty well on health. He's also taking advantage of if these enemies boost him from below, that just helps him deal even more DPS. He's doing pretty well on health, but he just wants to make sure to be as careful as possible. He's going to get that health refill. There you go. Just a little bit more damage, and that is that. So now we just need to make sure that we don't die, because these things can still kill us here as the last little bit here happens. All right. And now it's just a glorified cutscene. Time will be shortly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is freaking time.
Very nice, dude. Sub 40.
Sub 40, man.
Sub 40.
Good job.
That was my goal for this run. I was like, if I get sub 40, deathless, then I'm happy. So I'm pretty freaking happy right now. Well, first off, I want to thank my amazing couch for the support and the awesome commentary. Seriously, you guys just killed it. Let's hear it for the couch. Also, big shout outs to the Axiom Verge Discord and everyone who donated. All my friends from the Serious team, people at Meltdown Esports Bar in Montreal are having a viewing party of sorts for the run right now. Big shout outs to you guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Big shout outs to Tom Hab, the creator of this game, who's an amazing person. And it's just, I love this game. If you love Metroidvanias, you should pick this up. Another thing I want to mention is I want to say big shout outs to my whole No Reset Speedruns crew, because I've started, when I came to SGDQ in 2015, when I went back home, I'm from Montreal, we didn't have anything speedrun related going on at the time. And so I decided to start running my own little marathons and everything, and you know, we've grown so much. And I just want to say thank you to GDQ as a whole, because the speedrunning community and everything that we do, we owe a lot to you guys for making so many great events. Big shout outs to Mike Uyama, because I've been in his shoes, I know what it's like. So let's just hear it for all the GDQ staff, their whole team, every single one of them.